Hello and welcome everyone. This is Phoenix with your Patriot Health Report for the weekend of, are you ready for this? June 8th, 2024. All the health facts you need to know for the Patriot on the go. And I have some really good information to share with you this evening or day, whenever you may be listening to this. And so does Bob. Bob Gilpatrick of Boomers Forever Young. We're going to be talking about something we've touched upon. You may have heard it many times, but briefly over all the years that Bob and I have been doing podcasts together, and that is the nocebo effect. What the heck is that? Nocebo. Well, you've heard of placebo, a placebo. We're talking about nocebo, and we're talking about how to counter that, what it is, the effects it can have, and how to counter it, and some positive things. And I really hope that you like, share, and subscribe this episode and send it around to people, because this is a plague, everyone, globally, worldwide, of the nocebo effect, and we all need to break away from this. I cannot tell you how important this is. Anyway, let's get right into it in all positive aspects of this. And I think Bob's got some information and some updates for us about what's going on with the company before we get into this. Bob Gilpatrick of Boomers Forever Young. Hope you're having a wonderful, positive, great day on this. And we're recording this in all disclosure, everyone, on the 6th of June, which is a new moon. And this is a very, 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 three varies, I said that, powerful, positive time for you to learn something, even if you're listening days late, weeks late, months late. This is a positive energetic for you to pick up on right now. Thus says I, thus says the angels, and thus says Bob. Blah, blah, blah. Bob, anyway, how's it going, brother? And how's it going down in beautiful Florida right now?
Yes, thank you, Phoenix. It's going great. I think this is the best time of the year where it's still May. The onslaught of the tourists that jam up the highways hasn't started quite yet, but pretty soon it will. And in the meantime, if you want to go down to the beach and park right next to the beach, there's no problem with that. Coming up in a couple more weeks, as all the vacationers start to come for their summer vacations, you'll have to hunt around for a little while. But you get to see all these cool people that are coming from all around the country, and you meet people out when you're out and about. You meet people from all different states and different countries, and it's really cool.
Very nice. Very nice. Sounds very cool, Bob. I've been down there. It's been years since I've been to Florida, I have to tell you. When I was in the military, I was stationed down in Georgia, a little bit closer to Florida. I delved into there, and I've been there a few times, but not a lot. I really haven't spent a lot of time in Florida, and every day for me is vacation day, so I can't really say it was not a vacation, but, it is a very pleasant and beautiful place, and I've known quite a few people from Florida over the years, and I'm blessed to know that you guys parked yourselves down there with your business, Boomers Forever Young, St. Petersburg. Speaking of Bob, I just saw on the email 30% off on Boomers. What the heck's up with that, buddy? That's freaking crazy.
Yeah, it is. This is the one time a year. This is like a 2-week period. It'll probably end around the 17th of June, where we do this sale on Boomer Boost at 30% off. Usually it's only 25% off. This year we decided to do it 30% off. We know that it's kind of at the end of the 4 years, and a lot of people, their finances have gotten more challenging as time goes by, and may still, up for a little while more, a few more months, maybe half a year. And so we decided to make sure everybody could afford to get the great nutrition that they need and make this sale right now. And so some people will be able to get enough, for the month of July, August, September, October, because you can get 4 canisters of this at that reduced price. And so this will take people a good part of the way through the year. So that's
cool.
what we're doing for, people that may not have heard of Boomer Boost or know what it is. It was created as an alternative to the 20 bottles of vitamin pills that are on top of your refrigerator or in a box in your cupboard. It's one powder that has all the vitamins and minerals, amino acids, specialty nutrients like coenzyme Q10, branched chain amino acids, hawthorn berries, phosphatidylcholine, trimethylglycine, all the compounds that we know are the basic building blocks of human life. And so with one powder that you mix in a glass of water, you can take the place of almost every other pill bottle that you've got for trying to have a nutrition regime.
Yeah, very cool. You know what? This is it's interesting. They often say that brilliance is copied, if you will. And there's been a couple companies that have tried to come out with something that I'm like, yo, Bob, you realize somebody's trying to do like your Boomers Booth things? Like, yeah, we've seen it. And people try to replicate this. They're the first. Boomers Forever Young was the first. And it's proven over the years, over literally, Bob, how long's it been? Like, it's not decades. It's been over a decade. How long's it been since you had this product out and successful with all the positive reviews? How long's it been?
It's almost 14 years now.
Holy smokes! Yeah. Well, that's like how long I've known Bob, and we started talking. He put the product out, and it was maybe like a year, maybe less than a year later. I first interviewed Bob, and it was fascinating, and I became a a client of his, if you will, and a purchaser of his products. And no, he didn't send it to me for free. Still doesn't send it to me for free. Yo, Bob, we got to talk about this off the air. But I don't get free Boomers Boost. It was like, yeah, whatever, Phoenix, you get free Boomers. No, I don't. I pay for it just like you guys. And when he talks about there's a sale, I'm like, yo, sale on Boomers. But
That's right.
But I have to say, I do get compensated slightly, I'm telling you, for doing the sales and stuff. That's what I do. Bob of Boomers Forever Young is the only person that I promote. I've done so in the past with maybe one or two others, but quickly, because of like improprieties, have dropped them, because I'm all about, and if you have listened to Phoenix Rising Radio, PIR, whatever format, I'm not the guy. Click the link below, or here's my merchandise page and all that. I don't do that. I don't try to sell you stuff because, I don't like that. I click on things like, no, dude, I don't want to buy this Patriot thing. And, we can all do that. And I recommend, I've talked about things in my, different reports about you should have this, and tell you to research it and look. And I never point you to any specific item or company, but I do to Boomers Forever Young, because, and again, Bob doesn't give me free Boomers, but it's great. I use it. It's proven by thousands of people, and it's absolutely fantastic product that can literally, and proven, again, not speculative or hype, change your life. It really can. And okay, yeah. Bob, do I get free Boomers yet? I mean, come on.
No,
on.
Not yet. No, not even close. You didn't tell people, like, for example, as we age, we start to produce less of certain things like phosphatidylcholine, which is crucial for so many aspects of your health. And you make it in your liver, but as you age, you make less of it. And we put that compound into Boomer Boost knowing that. And you were saying other people have tried to kind of make copies of it. Well, they don't understand the value of phosphatidylcholine or trimethylglycine or proanthocyanins. And they don't put those all important things into their formulas. They'll put vitamins and minerals and some other things and try to make something that they give a fancy name to and tell you it's it's going to help your heart. But when you really look at it, it's like it probably needs about 40 or 50 additional ingredients to really make a difference. Human bodies are really complex, and you need a lot more than just vitamins and minerals to be super healthy. And so that's what one of the main differences is. And also the fact that the design of it is specifically geared towards helping people get natural energy. So nutrition scientists have known for years the totality of the Krebs cycle, which is how your body makes energy. And we know the nutrients that are needed for that cycle to work properly and to be balanced. And so we've all of the required components for that energy making cycle is in Boomer Boost. And so all of a sudden when you take it, it's like, wow, I'm feeling more energy, kind of like I felt when I was a kid when I would leave the house or it's 11 o'clock in the morning and I'm in second grade and the teacher's like, all right, it's time for everybody to go out to the playground. Well, how many of the kids were not running on the playground?
None.
Yeah.
And how many kids this year didn't get a broken arm?
Yeah, I know. And so, but even in a much older age, 50 years later, 60, 70 years later, you can still have that level of energy and feel like running for no particular reason. More days than not, when I leave my condo, I have to walk normally about 100 yards to get to my car. And unless my arms are really full of things I'm carrying to my car, I run to my car in the morning.
Yeah.
Why? Not because I'm in a hurry, because, hey, I'm outside, the sunlight, let's run, right? It feels good to run knowing that you can. And it's like when you get to the car, it's like, wow, that felt great to go for a run.
Well, I have a confession to make, Bob.
Yep.
Okay. I live on the second floor, and the stairs are not short. I mean, it's quite a bit up to my apartment. And no, guys, I'm not living on some private estate somewhere, and yet. But anyway, I used to run like all the way up, no matter what I was carrying. I like both arms full, boom, 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 and I realized I might be making people feel bad, or feel like there's a problem, and so I stopped doing that. I consciously walk up my stairs because I don't want anyone else to feel like they may not be as adequate. And I swear to God that I'm being humble in that and not being proud in that, but like I don't want to hurt people's feelings of who may be my age or younger, especially younger, and to see me like zip up the stairs with full arms of everything, like here I am, boom, and I had to consciously stop it, and it was a actual psychological and social reason I don't run up my stairs anymore, because I noticed people were looking, and they were people younger than me who have hard times moving around. I'm like, I don't want to do that to them psychologically. Which kind of goes on to the topic. We're going to get into it in a moment. Yeah, we're going to get into it. But anyway, I just had to say that, Bob.
Well, that's good. When people hear information about health and wellness, some of it can be very positive and encouraging and can lead people to believe that one thing or another might be really good for them. And at the end of the day, all you have to really do is try things for yourself, because you don't know what's hype and what's real. And you also don't know how you personally are going to feel. And there's been maybe out of the 20,000 people that have used Boomer Boost, I think there's been one or two that sent it back and said, this made me too hyper or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't take it because it gave me too much energy and I felt really anxious.
Wow.
And, but for the most part, 999 out of 1,000 really like it. So really
let me interject really quick too. If you've never used boomers, what Bob's talking about, I've experienced myself and I still experience it. And it's not like zip, 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 like caffeine energy, like, oh, I just took my boomers, boom, 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 boom. It takes time to kind of build up. I think it took me, Bob, like maybe 2, 3 weeks, following what you
Yep.
advise with the, I use Gladiator barley and I use the boomers. That's just how I roll. And it got to the point. I told Bob this because I don't like to hyper run, okay? Which I can. I can freaking run many, 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 many miles if I want to, but I choose not to for my health because I don't want to build up cortisol in my body. That's another topic on its own. But I run until I break a sweat and get my circulation, my heart going to a certain effect, have all my my joints moving, to keep things going, lubricated, et cetera, et cetera. And I used to have to stop myself, and I've talked about it on some of our programs. I'm like, man, I've got to stop running because I wouldn't want to stop. And it wasn't because of caffeine or some type of, herbal thing that's in there. It's just because of pure energy, pure energetic ability I had because of good nutrition. And I'm like, okay, it's almost 45 minutes, almost now. I got to stop. I want to stop this. And I would literally have to make myself stop running, everyone, number one, so I could do my PIR or whatever I needed. But I knew that's not what I wanted. And I didn't need that much more cardio. Been there, done that with cardio. I can guarantee you, more than you even realize. If you're a marathon runner, yeah, I could tell you some horror stories. But and it's pure energy. It's not, again, like caffeinated, stimulated herbal things like, oh, my heart's beating fast, I got to go. No, it's nutrition, 100% pure nutrition that gives you the ability, like Bob was saying, we're going to talk about in a minute, being a child. Like, dang, I'm hitting outdoors, and your parents like, be back before dark, and there you go. I mean, you're on a full run, you're on your bike, or whatever. It's natural nutrition that you get as we did when we were children.
Yeah, and just like sometimes Phoenix people can get a positive feeling about something when we're talking about natural energy and like that, sometimes there's negative feelings too that people can get depending on what they're listening to and what they're hearing, whether it's true or not. And
Right.
that's kind of the topic of what we're going to talk about today, the nocebo effect. And, everybody is subjected to the nocebo effect. The word nocebo comes from the Latin to harm, or I will harm. And essentially what it is, it's the opposite of the placebo. So somebody might enter a clinical trial for a particular new thing, whether it's a drug or a nutrition product, and they're told, yeah, this is a particular study that we're doing that's going to help improve your eyesight. And half the people will actually get the new drug, and the other half will just get a pill with none of the drug in it, just a pill with nothing in it. But nobody knows which is which,
Right.
except for the company that's doing the actual study. And the doctor doesn't know. He's not privy to whether you're getting the placebo or not. This is what they call a double-blind study, meaning the client doesn't know which one they're getting, and the doctor doesn't know which one they're getting, because if the doctor knows which one they're getting, which patient is getting what, it's going to have an effect on the way that they observe,
Right.
not only the placebo, which might be, hey, this person is getting better, but also the opposite, which would be the negative side effects. And there's a lot of studies about side effects of medications and the number of people that feel those side effects, depending on how exposed they are to the possibility of those side effects.
Right.
So,
Right.
and so somebody could take even someone that takes the placebo, but they don't know it, but they're told, hey, going in, if you were to get the real drug, be careful because you might get swelling in your feet, you might start to feel dizzy. And so those are the side effects, and we need you to report them to your doctor.
Yeah,
Well,
and
guess what?
that would be
People
the
that got, yeah,
preloaded nocebo.
yeah.
Preloaded
And so,
nocebo. That's where we're going, people. Preloaded nocebo. And you'll be like, yeah, I don't know anything about that. Dig this, everybody listening right now. Everybody, you've got this. And that's what Bob and I are going to talk about today. Everybody listening to me right now, at some point, you have this. So, okay, I just wanted to set that up,
yeah,
Bob.
yeah,
So it's like,
yeah, yeah.
you
And
don't
so,
click off of this yet, because you have what we're about to talk about. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. And so with this example, think about this. Someone got the placebo pill, meaning there was no ingredient in it, but they got the side effects. Why? Because they were told they might get them if they got the actual active ingredient.
Right.
So even people that were getting the placebo were getting the side effects. Now, another thing that came about in 2020 was the whole issue with the scamdemic, right? You
Right.
had issues where people were starting to feel sick when whether they were really sick or not. It's like, oh, I think I've got that. Somebody coughed the other day in the elevator, and now I think I have, COVID, right? So, and that's what's called a nocebo. Now, then you also got the follow-up, which was people started getting the vaccinations, and some people were not doing well with those vaccinations. They didn't take to them very well, and they started getting side effects. And the word started to get out. Oh, you might get these side effects. Well, all of a sudden, the side effects spiked. Even more and more people were getting the side effects. So
Right.
you could have a nocebo effect both from the potential pathogen and the treatment for it,
Right.
depending on what was being said in the news, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the people that study this, they call this media storms. People
Yes.
that study nocebo effects,
Right.
like, there's a media storm telling everybody, watch out for this, watch out for this. All of a sudden, half the world's got this.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there, Bob. There was a thing, and it's actually true. And there were studies that were launched because, the alleged COVID-19, et cetera. Hoping to get kicked off of YouTube for this. Anyway, that there was a serious effect of this everywhere. And there were people actively trying to find out, why didn't the Amish community get heavily affected in this? And there was actually a television interviewer who was interviewing some Amish, and it's like, why has your community not been affected like everyone else? And the guy looked right at her and said, because we don't watch TV.
Yep.
Boom, mic
Yep.
drop. I mean, it's like right there, the
Yep.
placebo. It's because we don't watch TV, and
Yep.
and that was into that interview, but that actually went out there.
Yep. Well, and this is the case with a lot of other things. And I'll just tell about, the biggest one with these is what's referred to as a collective nocebo. And this is what we've been talking about. When the masses and a media storm has an effect, this is what you call collective. So the biggest collective nocebo is actually the fact that people die of old age. And there's about 50% of the reason
Oh,
that people
Bob,
die from old age.
Bob, I want you to take it easy now because I know your age. You need to be calm now and not extend yourself because you know how old you are, Bob. So just like be calm and good now because you know your age. Is that what you're talking about? That kind of BS?
it's even worse than that. But what you're saying is like this. Really, it's like, oh well, so and so's starting to get forgetful, but after all, he's getting old, right? Or so and so now has arthritis in his hip, and he'll need a hip replacement because he's getting old. Right? And you'll hear people say this, like, I live in a community where people are just beginning to enter middle age, right? Which to me is 85 years old.
Dude, yeah, yeah. I was going to say, dude, you live in Florida, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And so to
snowbird,
me,
snowbird heaven.
right, middle age begins at around 85, and that's about the average age of the people that live in my condo complex. And the conversation that you hear all over the place is, oh, and how was your visit to the doctor the other day? And the answer is
Oh my
always,
God.
oh, well, I'm getting old and blah, blah, blah. And he said that I'll just have to live with this, right? I don't know.
Oh my
And
God. Yeah, let me stop you right there. I met a guy, friend, a while back, and we were going out into the mountains mushroom hunting. We had a collective interest in wild foraging mushrooms, and we're driving. He's like, "Oh, how old are you?" And I told him. And for anyone listening, if you're wondering how old I am, this is my standard answer to everyone. I'm old enough to know better, but I'm still young enough to do it anyway. Anyway, so we're cruising. He goes, "Oh my God." He goes, "So your knee's bad? You must have a bad back." I'm like, "No, my knees are fine." He's like, "Well, you don't have back problems?" I'm like, "No." And I'm like, "Why do you ask?" He goes, "Oh, your age." I'm like, I'm fine." He couldn't believe it. The guy actually went, because he didn't know anybody. And I'm like, "I'm sorry. Should I?" Like, I apologize. Like, "I'm sorry. Am I supposed to have that?" Or kind of, and he's like, "Oh, no, no, no." He's apologetic. I'm like, "Yeah, dude, don't put that on me. You're nocebo."
that's right.
Because
I guess I better get busy and get sick, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But,
No, I'm old enough to know better, but young enough to do it anyway for quite some time. Just saying. But anyway,
yeah, but
anyway.
even going back even further with people and aging, turns out at about age 5 or 6, children begin to perceive the concept of impermanence in human beings.
Here we
So they
go. Yeah.
say, I'm 5 years old, my brother's 10, my sister's 20, mom and dad are in their 40s, grandma's 65, and great grandma just died. That's what I'm supposed to do.
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah,
a human.
this is impregnated upon the human psyche, and this is new. I won't say this is nothing new. I mean, it's nothing new in the past few centuries, but you go on beyond the millennia. If you believe in the Bible, if you're like, "Oh, I believe in the Bible," well, what about Methuselah, dude? How long did he live? How long did Enoch live? Enoch was taken away. How long did these other people live? Okay, so this is a learned thing that's come up to our society without a doubt.
Yeah, and so this is there's a lot of theories as to what's happening biochemically, but we do know that brain chemistry is highly, highly affected by thoughts and beliefs. I mean, there's a whole book out that's called The Biology of Belief that was written by Dr. Lipton, Bruce Lipton, where he really documented, like, right down to the electron, how people's beliefs were affecting their health and wellness and their age. And that's a really great book. It's actually a story of how he began to discover these things while he was at medical school.
Okay,
And he's
Bob, really, really quick. Again,
yeah,
the book, the title, etc., so everyone can make note of
yeah,
this. It's very important.
yeah. So it's called The Biology of Belief, and the author is Bruce Lipton, like Lipton tea.
Cool.
He's become very famous and is a YouTube interviewer, and he travels and speaks at conferences all around the world. And he's a big proponent of tapping. the emotional freedom technique
Right.
and
Oh,
using tapping to help with your health and wellness.
okay. One more time, because I have something to say about this. The title of that book again?
The biology of belief.
Okay, stop right there. Um, some of you who have studied different scriptures, throughout the years, will recognize what I'm about to say. As a man thinketh, so he is. And this has been picked up by multiple spiritual teachers throughout the years, millennia. As a man or woman thinketh, so they are. The biology of belief. So I just want to interject that, Bob, because that's like first thing that came to mind when you said that. Please continue.
Yeah, so there's some sets of beliefs relative to aging that says, when we are going through this process of witnessing other people aging, and then as we get older, we take on the characteristics of the other people of that age. And there's even theories to say that the hormones that are produced in your pineal gland and your pituitary gland are being altered as you age by the sets of beliefs that you have about what others are doing. This is the ultimate collective nocebo. So what
Mm-hmm.
can you do about that nocebo, the nocebo of aging? Well, there's a technique that is specifically about this that is taught in a different book that is called New Cells, New Bodies, New Life. And
Very
this
cool.
book is a collection of chapters, and the book is written by a lady by the name of Virginia Essene.
Okay, like the scenes. Okay,
Yep.
one more time before we go forward. Name of the book again, author. Let's reiterate this for our listeners so they
Yep.
don't have to go back through.
So the book's called New Cells, New Bodies, New Life. And the author is Virginia, like the state of Virginia. Her last name is Essene, Essene,
Like the scenes.
like
Okay.
the Essenes.
You
I think
think
she,
you think this is just a pen name she picked up, or she's just,
I think of it, I think it's pretty certain.
I'm
Um,
pretty certain, yeah. But you know what? Very appropriate. Very,
it is
very appropriate.
very appropriate. So what it is this is a collection of channeled works. So each paragraph is is channeled by a given human who is skilled at channeling spirit guides, if you would. And they were asked by Virginia, hey, we want to, write a book about health and wellness and cells and biology and long life. Can you ask your spirit guide about this topic? And about 10 different people agreed. And this is a collection, chapter by chapter, which is spirit guide by spirit guide, their take on human life, the creation of it, and also what it is, how it works. And in one of the particular chapters, it goes into the collective nocebo of aging, and actually in print gives you a guided imagery you can do for yourself or help others do that takes you through a system of reprogramming your body and your energy systems and your mind to opt out of the collective nocebo of aging. And you can read through it. The particular spirit that is giving that information is XACA. I believe the spelling of the spirit's name is XACA, Exaka.
Okay.
And you can't miss it. If it's not that exact spelling, you'll notice it as soon as you look at the table of contents. And you can read through that chapter and it will give you that technique. And essentially what it is a meditation where you would start with your, and it's a chakra system and endocrine system alignment and reprogramming. So each of your chakras has a corresponding endocrine gland, and they're stacked from proximal to distal, starting with your crown chakra and your pineal gland. And so you would start, for example, by focusing your attention to the middle of your skull with your where your pineal gland is, and you just get in touch with it and call it by name. Hey, my wonderful and helpful pineal gland and crown chakra. We're going to be going through a whole series of realignments, chakra by chakra, gland by gland, and we're starting with you first. And the whole idea is we want to opt out of this collective nocebo of aging,
Right.
and we want you to stop producing the type of hormones from the gland that lead to aging. And instead, we want to only secrete hormones of youth and vitality and immortality.
Right.
And as you make that instruction, you then imagine your crown chakra, and you imagine that it's spinning in this really beautiful, constant rhythmic motion. And it's really happy. It's really happy to hear these instructions. And it's lending the power of that chakra to reinforce and to make a companion of the pineal gland. And then from there, you can go down to each of the chakras, each of the glands, all the way down to the first chakra, and your glands that are all the way down at the bottom of the chakra system that are essentially your reproductive glands. And if you do this step by step for all 7 chakras, maintaining all the while this intention and instruction to every part of your body to opt out of the collective nocebo, you can then begin to
Fascinating, Bob. Continue.
so you can begin to effectuate the slowing down of your aging process. And this book, The New Cells, New Bodies, New Lives, will, give you the exact structure of what I was just giving a short description of. And that, plus many other things in this book that Virginia Scene put out back in 1991 for all of us. And so it's very fascinating to read each one of the chapters.
Wait a minute, Bob. Who put that out? Is this someone you know? Because I know General Stubblebind and some other very interesting individuals you've been with. Did you actually know this person before this came out?
No, I've never met Virginia before, but I can tell you this: I have met in my travels a few of the different spirit guides that are being channeled from the book.
Very cool. Okay. Well, continue on. I didn't mean to distract you there, but please, Bob, continue on with the story. This is fascinating, everyone, and really, nocebos? Yeah, we need to get rid of that. That's what this whole program is about. Please continue, Bob.
Yeah, so you want to also watch out for another a common aspect of life that makes it so it's easy to get caught up in a nocebo. And this is the whole concept that Carolyn Mace put forward in her book, Why People Don't Heal. And she refers to it as wound mates. And a wound mate kind of goes like this. You meet a new person at a party or on the elevator, And say you take the elevator, at my apartment complex, and a new person moves in, and they're on the elevator and they have their cane, and another person on the elevator has their cane, and one of them says to the other, "Oh, did you hurt your leg?" "Oh, no, I just had a knee replacement, and boy, does it hurt." And the other person goes, "Oh, a knee replacement. I had a knee replacement too, and it's still hurting me. We could be best friends." That's what a wound mate is.
A wound made, without
Right.
a doubt. I
Yeah.
knew you were leading up to this, but okay, please
Right.
continue.
So that's the wound mate scenario. And people do this, and they not only do they do it, but those people literally become their friends and they bond over their wounds, whether they're physical wounds that are actually real or perhaps part of a nocebo, um, you know, or if it's a mental or a spiritual issue as well. Oh, I when I was growing up, I was abused by my father. Oh, I was abused by my father too. You and I could be best friends, right? And so Carolyn is, cautioning people against this. You know, don't perpetuate and don't amplify the trauma you may have experienced in its current moment or current day negative effect on you by seeking out the energy of other people just like you and using each other for woe is me, because it's only going to make it worse when you think it's going to make it better because now I have somebody to sympathize with. It perpetuates your focus on it. Right now, you have to be cautious, because in some cases it can be very helpful for people to join support groups. Right, not everybody, but some people will actually do better in support groups, especially support groups that are surrounding addictions, because quite often the support group is run by someone who's a professional therapist, maybe even a havening instructor, somebody very insightful, supportive, encouraging, and helpful. And they're doing it for a group of people all at once. And that group is supporting each other in their recovery and their advancement towards wellness and wholeness, as opposed to getting together to, complain about their newest pain. So another big one, Phoenix, is the whole issue of cancer. Right? Cancer is a really big one, and you can you you can go to your doctor and you're diagnosed with cancer, and the next thing you know, they're giving you an amount of time that you have to live. You familiar with that one, Phoenix?
Can you hear me, Bob? I have my
Yeah,
mic on mute.
yeah, yeah,
Mute. Oh,
yeah.
I'm
So
very familiar with that. I have to tell everyone, full disclosure, I have been told that I'd be dead within a certain amount of time. Uh, more than you have. Let me put it that way. I have done more dangerous things in more dangerous environments and done some foolish things. Um, but yeah, I've heard that, Bob. And real quick before you go back, I want to do something for everybody. Knocking on wood, baby. Knocking on wood. But anyway, Bob,
yeah,
please continue.
yeah. Well, the cancer thing is really it's quite well known for this nocebo effect. Right. Okay. So first thing we're going to have to do is some surgery. Then we're going to give you some chemotherapy and radiation, and you've got about 6 months to live. But if we do this, you might live for 9 months or a year, and you're going to feel really sick. Most likely, you're going to need to quit your job. You're going to need to have your family take care of you, et cetera, et cetera. And they paint this picture for you. Now, there's elements of truth to what they're saying. Why? Because that's their experience. That's the data that they have.
That's
Right?
what that's what they have collectively, interjectively collected. Very, very profitable. Okay, I used to call it Farmageddon, everyone. And if you've listened to me for a long, long time, you know about Farmageddon. And I literally, Bob, years ago, I was talking about Farmageddon. I had a representative from the um, I guess drug facility or whatever they call it, pharmaceutical, used to call in and talk to me when I had open lines, and he would try to very intellectually and calmly debate with me about this, and because I talked about Farmageddon, and he was never able to prevail, and he eventually stopped doing so. And I wasn't being mean or callous or anything, just like factual. And he was actually tasked by the pharmaceutical industry to call up this number on this podcast and counter this guy. This is a nice guy. And I eventually, Bob, he's like, he couldn't counter me because it was all facts. But yeah, the whole Farmageddon, okay. Oh God, Bob, I just got back on YouTube. I think I'm going to be banned again. Okay, we got to be careful. Okay, please go
Yeah.
on.
Okay, we will. So another interesting thing, Phoenix, that I read about nocebos. Remember back a number of years ago, they had this water crisis in Flint, Michigan.
Oh heck yeah! Was that ever resolved, Bob? I don't think it was ever
Yeah,
fixed, was it?
I think they resolved it eventually, but the water crisis had been going on for quite a while, and there was a certain level of enrollment of children in Flint, Michigan, in special education.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Then they come out with this report. Oh, well, the water is polluted, and the next thing you know, there's a spike in the number of special ed students.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yep.
And they were trying to claim it was lead based, but I'm not sure, Bob, because I have to be quite honest with everybody. Yeah, I'm Phoenix. I check into everything, but brutal honestly, I don't live there, and since it wasn't affecting me like most Americans or most people in the world, I didn't look into it that close. Again, I apologize to everyone who may live there. And you're like, Phoenix, I listen to you all the time. I'm sorry if I didn't go into it deep enough. But, that's not the nocebo effect, but my God, we're hit with so many things psychologically, in today's environment that, Bob, I really didn't check into it that much. I'm aware of it. I researched it, but the redemption thereof, I'm really not up on.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, Phoenix, a lot of the nocebo effect is from stress, right? So we know that when people have a belief that something is bad or is going to cause something bad or is going to cause harm to them or their family, and they're worried, if I don't get this done or if I don't do it right, then things are going to be bad. And by the way, just in general, in the world itself and in our country and in our state, things are not okay. And this constant stress that gets perpetuated by news stories and other information, things like protests, creates these stress responses that we know are going to cause physical problems, excessive cortisol secretion, and on and on and on, to the point where people can get so stressed out that they become paralyzed, they become paranoid, they won't leave the house, and they start to deteriorate. We see this with people who are very old. This happens quite often as people get to be older. Quite often their stress gets a lot worse, and it contributes to aging faster as you get older. And I saw this in nursing homes where people had this belief system that having to go live in a nursing home was just about the worst possible thing that could happen to somebody, and that they actually would rather be dead, because they'd heard all kinds of bad things about nursing homes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it turns out that in some nursing homes, when people came to live there, they ended up being very, very happy about it. And I've had a couple of friends that went to live in assisted living or nursing homes, and they were like, you can't believe it. They cook for us. I don't have to cook my own meals anymore. Right. And they come in and get me when it's time for dinner. They remind me that it's time for dinner. And if I need help with anything, going shopping, getting something ready in the morning, if my back's really stiff and I can't get my shoes on, they actually come and help me. When I was living at home alone, it was such a pain. The best thing I ever did was move to this assisted living facility.
Okay, I want to interject something right here for anyone listening. Bob, love you,
Yep.
bro. Screw that. Give me a backpack. Put me in the fucking woods. I don't. Excuse the F word, everybody. But I will not do that. Like, oh, I love it that they come and help me in assisted living. No. Okay. You want to talk about anti-nocebo? Hello, Bob. This is Phoenix. Okay. So go easy on what you're saying there. Like, it's so wonderful living in assisted living. Like, oh, hell no. Nuke it from space, dude. But anyway.
That's great. So, anyway, I'll tell you another story. In one of the nursing homes that I ran, we had a man who lived there who had once been married 20 years earlier, never remarried. He was in his late 80s, and there was a woman there who was in her early 80s, and they both were frail and in need of constant medical care, and they ended up getting married at the nursing home.
There you go. That's a positive story. Okay, I will go with that. Don't give me the story about, oh, and I don't remember anything. They helped me remember. Yeah, I'm linking up with a hot chick over on freaking aisle 5 or whatever. You know,
that's
like,
good.
because we listen to the same music. You know,
That's
seriously,
right.
this is the okay. Seriously, everyone, the positive aspects of staying positive, knowing that you know that all will be well, and being healthy, and just having love and vitality and health in your life. Okay, we're going to cut to the chase right here with the whole nocebo thing. Do not fall into the trick and the trait of, oh, you are so old. Your aunt was this old. Your grandfather, your mother, this is what happened to your father. You know, don't fall into that. Drop away from all that, because the reality is you are in command of your health, your well-being, and your prosperity. It's psychological, it's spiritual, it's energetic, okay? It's very energetic, and you have to know that you know. And you know, we're actually doing this recording on the new moon. It's a very good new moon on the 6th of June. Bob is very energetic, very positive, and it's a good time to set your intent. Now, you may be listening to this a couple of days later, a week later, whenever. It doesn't matter. It's energy. Energy flows, okay? Be positive and all this stuff, and no matter what negativity you may hear, oh, you're this age, oh, you're that, oh, you know, are your knees bad or is your back bad? Like, no, I'm sorry. Is it supposed to be? No, it's not. You're supposed to be healthy. You're supposed to be vital. You're supposed to be strong. And Bob can help you with that with his products. And that's the whole meaning of today's, this afternoon, whenever you're listening, podcast here is about the nocebo effect. And nocebo, what is nocebo? Opposite of placebo, plus SIBO. Okay? The nocebo that you've heard since you were a child, like Bob was saying. Oh, well, look, your aunt died at this age, or your father died at this age, and oh, your aunt got cancer at this age. Well, that's not nice, but that's not me. Okay, you must take control energetically of your own mindset. Heads up, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. This is Phoenix. Bob, bear with me. I'm taking control of the program right now. Listen to your heart. Do not accept or fall into the belief of the nocebo effect of what your parents, your anyone around you, anyone, society has told you about your age or anything with that. And this, especially, Bob, I really want to do a disconnect on here of the so-called generational effect of certain diseases, cancer, and whatever it may be. Just because you had an aunt, your father, your mother, your sister, your brother that befell something that was negative physically to them that they succumbed to, does not mean that that is your genetic position. I'm telling you right now because you can change this. Bob, am I correct? Okay, but I need some professional backup. Bob, can you change that? If someone, no matter what, all the odds are stacked against them because of, oh my God, what happened to your mother, your father, your aunt, your uncle, your brother, your sister, and this is genetically. Bob, is there a disconnect from that? You need to give me your professional opinion on this. Can we disconnect from this? I know the answer. Hello. I know the answer right now, but you need to tell our listeners right now and everyone your professional opinion. Is there a disconnect from that?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what the book, The Biology of Belief, is about, because there's two aspects to the genetics. So you might inherit a gene from your parents that might predispose you to something. It doesn't mean that you're going to get it, but that's the genetic aspect, the hardwired genetic, but there's also the epigenetic, which means the outside of the actual hardwired, the environment that your DNA is in, because your DNA is actually wrapped up in a protective protein sheath, and certain things ping that sheath to open it up, and it's different chemical compounds will do that, and light will also do that, and a lot of it's controlled by what you believe. And
Okay.
so people actually can inherit the epigenome of their parent, particularly their mom. So if you are a person who's born on day one and you have this genome that's half your mom's and half your dad's, well, guess what? What your mom was thinking while you were in the womb has an effect on you. That part of the epigenome, whether it's positive or negative, is going to follow you as a beginning partial effect on your health, wellness, and longevity. Now, it can be overridden. That epigenomic part can be overridden with all kinds of different techniques. So say when the person is born, they're born to a mom who was very stressed and negative, but maybe the child was adopted shortly thereafter by a family that was very positive and loving, right? Well, right away, that child's epigenome starts to change, and they're less likely to have medical problems that they would have had they stayed in that other environment.
Correct.
So
I
very important to know. And as you get older and you can take control of it yourself, you can change your epigenetic predisposition using the techniques like we just described before from the book New Cells, New Bodies, New Lives. You can use the emotional freedom technique that's recommended by Dr. Lipton. You can use Havening, heart math, et cetera, et cetera.
I have a thought about that, Bob. You're talking about this, and if you guys have been listening to the Patriot Health Reports for years, I'm like, yeah, this is Phoenix. I take Bob off topic, but this isn't off topic. Bob, I actually have a thought here. When you were talking about that, the energetic, and something actually came to mind for me was conception. The moment of conception, you were talking about people who potentially they were adopted or whatever, their mothers gave them up, et cetera, et cetera. The energetic of conception and the passion, love, perhaps, whatever was going on at perception, I think that potentially people can go back. Well, not potentially, but I know we can back to that conception moment, that flash of light, that energetic universal flash of light of conception, and the energy, passion, and love that was encompassed in that. I think we can return to, if you will, when we're going to a nocebo type of thought form, and realize and remember, like when we were conceived, the passion and the love that happened is still with us. That passion, that love, even though it may have been dropped, maybe if it was literally, no pun intended, ill-conceived, for whatever reason, it was complex, for whatever social or personal reasons that happened, that love and that energy that happened during conception, we have that energy within us right now, everyone. The spark of life that happened when you were conceived, when
Yeah.
that seed hit that egg, when it happened, and that passion and love occurred, no matter what the situation or wherever, if there was love and passion within that, you still have that within you. And I think some of the negative things, Bob, we talk about the nocebo effects were, of course, picked up after. And this could be something, too, like an accidental pregnancy or, out of wedlock pregnancy that was showered with much negativity, afterwards by family, friends, or whatever, and it shrouds that and gives this nocebo effect upon it. It kind of amplifies it. But I think what I'm trying to say is everyone listening right now, we have to remember. We have to remember, and this is I can do it. It's kind of a tricky thing for some people, but when were you conceived? That flash of light when you became you, and dig this. Let's go a little deeper, Bob. It was the new you, because before the you, there was another you. Oh my God, that's another program. I think Bob and I are going to go into some different programs here that you guys haven't really heard for a while, and because Bob knows this stuff. Anyway, so it's all fascinating, the nocebo effect and how we can counter this, how we can overcome it, and everyone. I think I always ask you, Bob, for your closing words of wisdom, and we're rolling up here. We're over an hour right now, brother. And I'll have you do all the stuff you do, but I want to tell everyone right now, you've got to remember where you came from. Hello, hello, hello. Think about this. The activation of when you were you, the passion, the love, the whatever it was, the heat and love of the moment, even if it was misguided, that is where you came from, everyone. Listen to me. You can hear my voice. That is where you came from. Myself, Bob, anyone listening, that's where we came from. It was a moment of passion and love. Grasp onto that, the positive power and energy that has, and it will launch you to places in your life you've never seen before. And you can say, oh, hell no, to the nocebo. Anyway, Bob, okay, we're rolling out of here. Last words, final words of wisdom, how we can connect with you, and anything you want to finish off here. So, you have the floor. No time limit. Just tell us what we need to know, Bob.
Yeah. So just for a second on what you were talking about, Phoenix, when a therapist that does timeline therapy, they will talk to the patient, the client, and one of the first things they ask was, this issue that we're dealing with, the first time you experienced it, was it before during or after your birth. And if the person says, it was before my birth, then the next question is, was it while you were in the womb or before you were conceived? Right? And the patient, being under hypnosis, will answer that question as well. And now the therapist has the timeline spotted, identified, that they can focus their attention on to help with the therapy. And sometimes it goes into past lives, in resolving issues from a past life that have come forward energetically through the conception and on into the new life.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I would boil that down to conception and before. You know, the rest of it is very fluffy and all that, but man, I would take it right down. But that's me. You know, I'm like Mr. Get the job done. But thank God I'm not everyone. Thank God Phoenix isn't your therapist. I'd be like slapping you upside the head and putting a ruck on your back, like, let's hit this mountain. Tell me about it when we get to the lake after 3 days. Anyway. Never mind.
Exactly. So, also, just so people know how to reach us, you can go to patriotintelreport.com. When you're there, look over on the left-hand side. You'll see this picture that looks like a lady in a blue lightning storm.
That's Bob's girlfriend, everyone.
Yeah,
he took a photograph of her.
The lady Nancy, in the blue lightning.
Yeah, Nancy. Right. She's probably like, I hate when he says that. I've said that before. Right. I told everyone that's Bob's girlfriend. You probably got emails like, really, Bob, is that your girlfriend?
Yeah, anyway. she's made of lightning.
Actually, she is. She's very active. She's energetic. She works with Special Operations Forces right there in St. Petersburg, and she's the friend of the veteran and patriots. She has a private organization that her and Bob are part of that I won't go into the details, but all jokes aside, Nancy's a wonderful woman. I hope to meet her someday. I've never met her face to face, but every time Bob talks about the lady in the blue lightning, I'm like, yeah, that's Nancy.
Well, believe it or not, if you click on the lady in the blue lightning, you'll end up over on my website. And there's over 100 podcasts there that are on a lot of the topics that we talk about here as well. And that's where you can see the sale that we have on the Boomer Boost, the 30% off sale. You can also give us a call. You'll be able to talk to Stephanie or Lucy or Jim, and the 800 number is 861-4609. We're also we're on Central Avenue in St. Petersburg, Florida, halfway between the beach and downtown St. Petersburg. And if you're in town because you live nearby, or if you're coming on vacation to Clearwater or St. Pete, give a call if you want to stop by and say hello. You can certainly do that. And just lastly, I would say that these next 5 to 7 months, Phoenix, are going to be a time when people really need to be very alert, very, very ready to stand guard at the door of their minds and not succumb to the onslaught of the collective nocebos that are about to come upon us. And use the techniques that are the podcasts that you can watch on my site. Learn how to do havening, learn how to do the emotional freedom technique. If you get to the site and you can't find those particular things, give us a call and we'll help direct you to them. You can also learn nonviolent communication on that site, and you can learn inner balance from the HeartMath Institute from us as well. And that's about it for today, Phoenix. Thank you very much for having me on again.
Okay, you're welcome, brother. I tell you what, always a blessing to have Bob on. God, Bob, how many times you were talking about it earlier before we went online? I think yesterday, maybe earlier today. It was earlier today because I had to get my haircut. It's a new moon haircut, everybody. I got my new moon haircut. Yeah, you either know or you don't know. Bob, how long have we been doing this?
It's about 10 years and around 250 times that we've been on together.
Dude, you're so anal that you would know all that. Oh, my God. 200 and how many times?
About 250.
Oh, my God.
I don't know the exact number.
You don't know the exact number.
No, I don't. It's around 250.
Okay, question, Bob. How many steps, if the elevator's not working, down to your bottom floor in your condo? How many steps?
Oh, let's see, 141.
Okay. Everyone, I think that proves my case. Yeah, Bob's a geek. He knows. Dude, are you autistic or something? He has the power of autism. Oh my God, Bob, dude! And your numbers, the stuff the point I'm getting at, all joking aside, Bob has never done a broadcast with me all these years that I didn't learn something. And well, I'm going to be kind of honest with everybody. I have a retention of information. I have a certain amount. Like I talk about historical reputation and replication, etc. And I can retain facts. So I'm like, yeah, you don't want to play me with like Trivial Pursuit or anything like that, and you definitely want to play Bob. But he always blows my mind every freaking time. And Bob, thank you for that so much. God bless you, brother. It's been such a pleasure. And okay, one other thing. No, I don't get free Boomers products, without a doubt. Do I get some advertising things? Yes, small amount. That happens. But you know what? I've never really promoted a lot of things. I'm not the click on the link below guy. But I tell you, 100%. Boomers Forever Young. Click on the link at PatriotIntelReport.com and check it out because it's 100% for real. Because I don't promote bullshit, people. I don't. And he's not. And I wouldn't be doing all these years. Anyway, Bob. Enough of that. Let's see, what else? New moon. Happy new moon, brother.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad to know it. And I can feel it. I feel, like it's time.
Okay, let's do something different here. Okay, we usually, after this, it's like, blah, 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 that is it. And I usually talk to Bob after. Bob, what you doing this weekend, dude?
Oh, so this is a weekend that's going to be very, very quiet. There's no set plans. But I can tell you this, the Baltimore Orioles are in town to play against the Tampa Bay Rays.
Okay.
So I may go to the stadium to watch a game. It's only a 5-minute drive from my office and 10 minutes from my house. So it's real easy to go do. Might hook up with one of my friends and go to the baseball game with him. And other than that, I think Nancy and I will drive down the coast, maybe go to Sarasota.
Nice.
Or Venice or Naples or something like that.
Very cool. See, this is the kind of conversation we have after interview, but it's nothing very private things you wouldn't even hear. And my response always to Bob says, and what are you doing this weekend? I'm like, nothing. So anyway, and it's like, what are you doing, Phoenix? I'm like, hanging out, doing nothing. But that's how we roll. Anyway, Bob, thank you so much. Your transparency on everything private and all that, and I really appreciate it, brother. The truth, the facts that you've brought to myself and all of our listeners, I cannot tell you how much it's appreciated. It really is. It's changed people's lives, and I know this. You know this, but. Anyway, okay, enough of that. Let's roll out of here. Going a little long. I don't know why I'm so chatty today. Maybe too much coffee. Anyway, Bob. Bob, thank you so much, brother. God bless you, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Phoenix. It was my pleasure. Thank you.
Alrighty, that's it, everyone. Yeah, can you believe this? Finally, that's it. Until next Patriot Health Report. Be sure and check in right here on the channel you're seeing it. Like, share, and subscribe to this information. And the nocebo effect. Get your mind right. Okay? I'm going to tell you something that Bob won't tell you. Listen to me. This is my hand. I'm slapping you in the face. Say no to the nocebo, to the negative things you've ever learned, and know that good things can be with you, healthy, longevity, and well-being. Okay? That's it. Till next Patriot Health Report, or PIR, everyone be well, be strong, and Phoenix and Bob out. God bless.